Queen Charlotte dies. You see, she was on the way to her relatives in Hanover, and she had a bit of what she thought was a bit of a cold. But this bit of a cold turns into the flu. The flu turns into pneumonia, and on the way to Hanover, she suddenly dies. Now this area originally was called Lichtenberg, so she lived in the Lichtenberg Palace. So after her very tragic death, you can imagine her husband Frederick I is absolutely devastated. And so, in his sorrow, he decides that the palace, but not just the palace, the whole of this district should be named after her. So since that tragic day, that's why the palace in this whole area is called Charlottenburg. Now, isn't that romantic? I can see you try to hold back the tears. Now listen, ladies, if you're ever considering becoming a queen, never say never. Never say never, ladies. But if you ever do decide to become a queen, please do me a favour and avoid moving into the Charlottenburg Palace. Don't go there, because it comes with a massive health warning. You see, exactly 100 years later, another queen moves into the Charlottenburg Palace, and her name is Queen Louisa. Today, they call her the Princess Di of Prussia. That's how popular she was. She was beautiful, she was intelligent, and she moves in, right? And she is the queen of Frederick William III. Anyway, she moves in. She's only 31. She moves on, and then she gets ill, and she suddenly dies. So, ladies, you know, if you're going to move into a palace, don't go to the Charlottenburg Palace. Yeah? Yeah? You could be a short-lived experience. All right?
Oksana.
Very tragic story.
You should name your name Oksanamber. Your house.
Oksana Paul.
Not Oksanamber. Your house. This is my palace. I have right for this.
Like I said, this is all part of the east-west axis that was built. In fact, also the lighting here on this street was also designed by Albert Speer. These candelabras you see here. He made an absolute fortune, by the way, with these candelabras, because there are 800 should have been built, but they actually built 1,000. So he had 2,000 too many. And he goes, oh my God, what am I going to do with 2,000 of these candelabras? I mean, what am I going to do with them? So what he does is, he has the original space between the candelabras shortened. That's why they're so close to one another, in order to get the other 200 in. And he charged the government at the time that ordered them 1,000 Reichsmark at the time for one of these. So 1,000 times 1,000, you can imagine it's 1,000,000. So he made an absolute packet out of this and made himself a millionaire. So we're having another roundabout now. Theodor Heusplatz, that was named after the very first president of West Germany after the Second World War. And then we've got the Eternal Flame. See this in front of you, this like blue tower there in front of you? It's the Eternal Flame, and this will only extinguish when all people from the Second World War that were displaced are back where they originally were from, which of course is never going to happen, so that's why it's the Eternal Flame. But that's what it was done for, because of all the displaced people that were obviously due to the Second World War displaced. It's covered, isn't it? Like that. Yeah, no, it never goes out. Don't worry about it. this was all back down. This was the headquarters of the British, by the way. This was the British sector of West Berlin, and the building that you can just see in front of you now, that was in British hands. It was where their radio station was, BFBS, British Forces Broadcasting Service, and this is also where the NAFI was. That was their own supermarket, which was down at the bottom here. So this bit here, this was all British sector. All you were seeing here was British soldiers running around. They were here from 1945 until 1994. The British sector of West Berlin is where we are. Like I said, Berlin that time, 4 sectors: the American sector, French sector, British and Russian. This is also quite clever, the way they've done this street here. It's got 5 lanes, and you can see the top drop is like traffic lights there, here in front of us. They can change the lanes depending on the traffic. So if there's more traffic going into town, then they can have 3 lanes going in, and if it's the other way around, more traffic going out of the town, then they can do the 3 lanes going the other way. Which is quite a clever thing to do, isn't it, really? There's not fixed lanes. They're interchangeable. Yeah, these are what you also can see down here. You see a bunch of villas. All these villas were built in the 1910, 1920, around that area. And they were all then commandeered by the officers of the British Army when they moved in, because they weren't destroyed, all these villas during the war. This area wasn't so heavily bombed, it was more the inner city that was really bombed. And so, yeah, they just took over all these villas and just moved themselves in. And then we got an S-Bahn railway station, which is straight ahead on the left. This was built purposely for the Olympics, of 1936. Just down the road is, in fact, the Olympic Stadium. Which then brings us more or less to the end of where we're going to take you now. We're bringing you up to the trade fair halls. And then you can see over there the tower, that's the radio tower, the Punktum. The first radio transmissions were made from here, but more importantly, the first TV transmissions were made from this. This radio tower over there. And it's a bone of contention between the British, the BBC, and the Germans, who actually broadcast the very first TV pictures. Now the Germans are adamant that they did, right? But the BBC are adamant that they did, right? So it's been an argument, it's an ongoing, it's a bone of contention. But the real thing is that this they did, the Germans did actually broadcast the first pictures. However, you couldn't call them a picture today, because basically it was snow. So you might, they might broadcast something, but all you saw was a bit of a shadow of a horse. You couldn't make that out, and it was just like snow. So, really, honestly, the first one was actually by the British. So there you go. We put that one to bed. So I'm not exactly sure where we have to stop here. Do anybody know where? Which gate? Or anything? Any ideas?
The main gate.
The main entrance? Where is it?
In front.
What, here?